let's head to the voicemail of Truth and Reason.
Hey, Dave, from Cleveland. One thing, I ain't been getting your shows for the last few days. Was something going on with a contract situation or whatever? But if you get this call, I just have one thing for you. I say we get rid of Kenny Pickett and keep the other three and let them battle it out. I don't know. Let me know what you think, brother. But be safe, be good. You and the family be safe. And I hope the show's back on soon. I haven't seen it since Monday. Love you, brother.
As always, appreciate all the voicemails. I was doing Mid-American Conference softball, and in a couple of weeks we'll be doing Mid-American Conference baseball. So the show will not be on in like 2 weeks. Here's the question that I have, and you kind of alluded to Flacco. I still think Kevin Stefanski's mindset is Kenny Pickett can win this job, and here's where I go with it. They traded the 5th-round pick NDTR to acquire Kenny Pickett when Joe Flacco was still out there. They could have signed Joe Flacco before they traded for Kenny Pickett. How do you? So, and I'm not saying you're wrong, but make that make sense to me.
I think that's fair, and I think a lot of people equate that, like, hey, Kenny was the first move they made, and that could certainly be the case. It could. But again, if you get to where my theory is that, ideally, I think the rookies are going to play more. And Joe's situation is a little bit different. Joe at 40 and a half years old, Joe being here, and I don't know how you necessarily trade him. I think the thing for Joe in 23, last year with the Colts, this year coming back to Cleveland, it's about having that, hey, I'm 3 hours away by plane. I can pop in at the family anytime I get a day off. The family can come out here at any given point in time. It's a little bit different when you're talking with Kenny Pickett, certainly younger, not a family man yet. And, the same reasons that Kenny Pickett may have had some appeal to the Browns could be the reason he'd be the easier one to move for Cleveland. It's harder to trade Joe. I mean, what if there was a West Coast team involved? I'm saying that kind of disrupts the apple cart. And you're not sure if maybe, when Joe came in, and maybe because he came in later in the process, there was kind of, some contingencies, hey, I don't want to go far. There's only certain teams I'm really interested in going to. But also, Stefanski, the Browns offense, David Njoku, Joe Flacco, there's something here. Like, we've seen this. So we kind of know, hey, this maybe could work because we've seen it work. And we all remember the magical ride to close out the 2023 regular season. That's my thinking on it. Mm-hmm. I just think if you got into it and the grand scheme of it was, hey, we're going to play the rookies more than people think we're going to, then, maybe you just, stick it out with Joe, kind of just maybe get back pennies on the dollar, what you got for Kenny, and just go that route. Of course, it's still early, and I think a lot of us are probably putting a little bit more emphasis on this past weekend than maybe we should. But, you're in the moment. It's the way it goes.
Yeah, and now the Saints, have Tyler Shuck and Spencer Rattler.
And where did their head coach last season?
Yeah. Yeah, that's where I was going with Kenny Pickett. So
I know you, Dave. We know each other well.